She claims he harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too.
Blake Lively is at the center of a swirling storm of accusations, heartbreak, and downright jaw-dropping revelations. Forget the polished Hollywood veneer. This is the story everyone's whispering about but too afraid to say out loud. Allegedly, it all started when fans realized that her new movie wasn't just another breezy rom-com. Some say it was pure marketing manipulation. Others claim it's something darker. And the deeper we go, the more shocking it becomes.
It was his movie that he bought the rights for from the woman who wrote the book, Colleen Hoover. Then he managed to convince Blake Lively to star in it with him, and all hell broke loose.
If you clicked expecting to see how Colleen Hoover's involvement sparked controversy, you're in exactly the right place. But here's the kicker. We have far more than just the usual rumors. We've got shady behind-the-scenes deals, whispered bribes, and disastrous meltdown moments that left onlookers speechless. Before we unravel every suspicious detail, buckle up, because the biggest bombs are still ahead.
She wanted to build her brand, she being Blake Lively, and she wanted to be like, florally, rom-com, I'm Lily Bloom.
First up, let's talk about the film's advertising. If you saw the bright floral posters and cutesy interviews, you'd think Blake Lively was promoting a lighthearted romance. According to insiders, that was intentional. The film's dark themes, domestic issues, traumatic violence, didn't exactly scream fun girls' night out. Yet rumor has it, Blake pushed for that misleading vibe to boost ticket sales, allegedly overshadowing the seriousness of Colleen Hoover's original story.
Most of the trade magazines didn't really like it, so it's not like, oh my god, this is so unfair that this movie's been treated this way.
Some fans felt blindsided by the contrast between playful promotional clips and the film's disturbing content. Others suspect that Blake knew exactly what she was doing, grooming audiences to see something cheerful rather than the gritty, raw narrative Hoover wrote. While these whispers caused quite the online stir, that was only the beginning. The real chaos reportedly began the moment Colleen Hoover raised objections.
Colleen Hoover, the one who really owed him a debt of gratitude because he bought the rights to her book, she went Team Blake. Well, guess what she just did this week? She scrubbed all of her social media of Blake Lively.
Word on the street is Colleen Hoover, famous for her emotionally intense novels, didn't appreciate seeing her serious plot marketed like a romantic comedy. Allegedly, she confronted Blake about pushing away the core message. According to anonymous sources, tension boiled over during script rewrites. Hoover wanted authenticity, while Blake allegedly wanted more playful banter and comedic flair. When the two creative forces clashed, it ignited a backstage firestorm of finger-pointing and hush-hush arguments.
The rating is gone. You can't even rate the movie on IMDb right now. So this is what it looks like.
But if you think that sounds bad, wait until you hear about the rumored lengths Blake Lively's team allegedly went to in order to secure better reviews. Stories are swirling about bribes. Yes, bribes, offered to certain critics or festival judges. The goal? Gloss over the film's shortcomings and keep the hype machine running. There's no hard evidence made public, but a surprising number of Hollywood insiders insist something fishy was happening. Strange sponsorships, suspiciously glowing early reactions, all of it adds up to a suspicious pattern that some say can't be coincidence.
I don't know how they did that. It's incredible how much damage control they have to do right now.
And it only gets wilder. One insider claims that when complaints started flooding in, Blake's PR circle scrambled to snuff out any negativity. Fast. Dinners, exclusive screenings, and behind-the-scenes treats were allegedly offered to influential voices. Think that's far-fetched? You're not alone. But rumor has it that some critics were more than happy to accept these perks, while others leaked the story to show just how desperate her team had become.
He's giving notes as a studio, not as a director. He is not seeing the locked cut of the film.
All of this might still be overshadowed by whispers of sabotage aimed directly at Justin Baldoni, who initially had big creative influence on the film. Sources say he was effectively sidelined during the editing stage. Why? Some claim Blake demanded final say over every major decision. Reputable tipsters say that in the final weeks of production, Justin's input magically disappeared from the finished cut. Allegedly, he tried to reinstate crucial, darker plot points that had been glossed over. Yet each time he pushed, insiders claim the door slammed in his face.
Is accused of having turned the whole cast of It Ends With Us against Justin.
If that's not scandalous enough, an alleged bot army conspiracy soon emerged. multiple fans and critics noticed suspicious social media activity that either fervently defended Blake or viciously attacked Justin. Were these real people? Or was a mysterious faction pumping out auto-generated comments to sway public opinion? It remains unconfirmed, but the timeline raises eyebrows. Negative posts about Justin soared as the film's marketing ramped up. Meanwhile, pro-Blake sentiments flooded the feeds, praising her artistic brilliance. Some label it a classic smear campaign tactic or an elaborate attempt at damage control.
And the editors say it would be very hard for me to sit and watch the final film for the first time at the premiere.
Yet the strangest chapter might be the meltdown at early pre-screenings. In one rumored account, Blake reportedly flipped out during a Q&A when audience feedback skewed more critical than expected. People in the theater described hushed phone calls, frantic pacing, and last-second attempts to re-edit entire scenes. Others recall her promising the crowd that the official version wouldn't have all these flaws, effectively admitting that the movie they saw was incomplete. If you believe these eyewitness accounts, the tension in those screening rooms was thick enough to cut with a knife.
Blake Lively took over the marketing for the film. Again, there's nothing nothing negative in the press or anything else like that. And Justin just wants to take the high road.
If you thought the meltdown ended in that single event, guess again. Another insider claims Blake confronted the editing team immediately afterward, demanding they remove or soften certain violent scenes. Critics argue that's exactly why the final product felt so tone-deaf. One day, it was gritty and raw. The next, it was peppered with rom-com style music and comedic relief sequences. Once again, rumor points to Blake insisting that more fun moments would keep mainstream audiences engaged. The result, however, left critics accusing her of trivializing domestic violence.
Most of the trade magazines didn't really like it, so it's not like, oh my god, this is so unfair that this movie's been treated this way.
And speaking of critics, professional reviewers soon entered the fray with their harsh takes. Major outlets delivered scathing rebukes, hammering the film's disjointed tone and questionable marketing. Many singled out poor editing choices, which ironically landed on Blake's shoulders after she took creative control. Several reviews explicitly noted how jarring it was to watch such a serious topic, overshadowed by flashy montages and glitzy comedic moments. According to these reviewers, the fault rested heavily on the last-minute rewrites and romantic comedy rebranding.
Didn't like that she was not taking the theme of domestic violence seriously, and then they found these old videos of her.
Another brutal sticking point came from advocacy groups who felt the movie glossed over vital resources and safe exit strategies for survivors of domestic violence. They slammed the filmmakers for not including a basic trigger warning, calling it a misguided move that could harm vulnerable viewers. This prompted a massive backlash online, one that overshadowed even the biggest marketing budgets. The sheer volume of negative reactions made it impossible to pretend everything was peachy.
So Sony sided with her, and everyone's like, why did Sony side with her when he wanted the movie cut this way?
So who's to blame? Some critics pinned it on Colleen Hoover's original material, often criticized for romanticizing abusive relationships. Others insist Colleen's book wasn't the main problem, pointing to the bungled final product that strayed too far from the source. In the end, fans and critics alike pointed fingers squarely at Blake Lively for reshaping the script to fit her vision. Her attempt to merge a serious drama with a breezy comedic facade felt misguided at best. And, according to multiple insiders, it exposed more behind-the-scenes drama than it ever could have hidden.
I saw Page Six had tried to reach out to Amazon and Paul Feig for a comment. They haven't been successful with that yet.
And here's the final piece of the puzzle. Rumors suggest top-level Hollywood execs swooped in to manage the fallout. Allegedly, hush money offers surfaced for staff who might speak too candidly about the meltdown. Non-disclosure agreements were said to be quietly slipped under the door. Why? Some speculate it was a desperate measure to protect not only Blake's reputation, but also the studio's bottom line. If the public discovered the alleged creative sabotage, bribe attempts, and meltdown fiascos all at once, it could tarnish the entire project's profitability.
Blake Lively, her brand, Ryan Reynolds' brand, have totally been tarnished by this because the world now sees them for who they are. They cannot act their way out of this.
At this point, fans are divided. Is this entire story blown out of proportion? Or is Blake Lively truly orchestrating a cover-up to salvage her image, and maybe her entire career? Either way, the situation is far from resolved. Rumors persist that more receipts could leak any day, and if they do, there's no telling how Hollywood will react. Will there be lawsuits, boycotts, or will everyone collectively move on if the movie makes enough cash at the box office?
Members of the jury, What does this
So, I mean-
lead you to conclude?
Now that you've seen the shocking receipts and behind-the-scenes turmoil, what do you think? Could it all be smoke and mirrors orchestrated by jaded insiders? Or does this scandal reveal a deep crack in Blake Lively's perfectly polished persona? The truth is probably hidden somewhere between an overambitious marketing strategy and the original serious subject matter. Only time, and perhaps a few brave whistleblowers, will tell which side is telling the real story.
Reports were that Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, who played best friends on that show, were not friends during the 6-season run of the show.
Before you go, let's do a quick recap. We have a marketing strategy that allegedly tricked audiences, an author who felt her work was twisted into something unrecognizable, rumored bribery attempts aimed at biased reviews, sabotage claims against a co-star, and catastrophic meltdown moments at pre-screenings. Critics then pounced with brutal honesty, triggering a potential cover-up scheme at the highest levels of Tinseltown. It sounds like a recipe for disaster, and maybe the end of somebody's carefully crafted public image. If you found these revelations mind-blowing, you'll want to keep this investigation rolling. Check out this video where we deep dive into how Hugh Jackman was dragged into this Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' scandal.
Oh, this is just getting interesting. Now Hugh Jackman's getting pulled into the group chat? Crikey.
And after hearing all this, we want to know, are you still rooting for Blake Lively's career? Or do these scandals have you questioning everything? Share your take in the comments right now, and let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for sticking around through this explosive expose. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want more celebrity deep dives. And remember, the biggest secrets often come from the most unexpected places. Until next time, stay curious and stay skeptical, because in the end, the truth might be even stranger than any rumor we've heard so far.